Hello, this is Ryan Pollard,
Tristan Tucker.
and we're here for PackTV to cover the NC State versus Clemson women's rugby match. It's a little cold outside, but we have the first match of the season here for both teams. NC State lost a couple players to graduation in December, so they have a more young, inexperienced team, whereas Clemson is the more experienced team in this matchup. NC State finished their fall season 1-4, 0-4 in the conference, so definitely want to improve on that this season. Start out on a winning foot. Clemson went 4-2 with a 3-1 record in conference. So they're looking to build upon their success. What are you looking forward to today, Tristan?
I'm looking for a more competitive game today. In the last game, Clemson won. In the last matchup, I should say, Clemson won. And so State is just looking to get back at them, looking for a revenge game here.
Yeah, absolutely. And just looking at the two teams out here in warm-ups, NC State definitely has the bigger team, looks to be the more physical team, whereas Clemson's a little smaller, but they may be a little quicker. So I think NC State definitely has to take advantage today of this cold weather, and Clemson's not going to want to get hit. And I think they gotta hit them from the start, kind of wear them down in this cold weather, just because they are more physical. But yeah, seems like we're ready to play, and it's gonna be a good matchup today. Stay tuned. Fantastic. Was that good? All right. All right. Cool beans. No, you're good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just feel whatever, man. Just let the flow happen.
Yeah, Sir's right behind you.
Good? All right. Hello, once again, welcome out here to Upper Method Field at NC State University. We're here for the North Carolina State University versus Clemson rugby match. It's going to be an interesting match here today. First game of the season for both teams. What are you looking forward to today, Tristan?
I'm looking for the state team to come together. This is a rather new team. They lost a lot of players due to graduation in December, and they're not necessarily inexperienced or anything, but with a whole lot of new faces, it'll be interesting to see how they mesh.
Absolutely. And alongside this as well, we had the absolute pleasure of having Maggie from the Wolfpack rugby team commentating alongside us today.
Hey. Wish I was playing, but you know.
It's all right.
Here we are.
Well, we might need a little more experience here on the commentating crew.
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't exactly know all the terminology, but we're gonna give it our best shot. It's gonna be an interesting match here today. Waiting the ref signal to begin play. Weather's definitely colder than it was yesterday, which isn't great, but we're off.
It'll be interesting to see how the weather factors into the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Ooh, oops.
Wolfpack trying to push their way slowly and methodically up the field. And as I referred to here in before the match, I really think they have to use their power today. They definitely look like the bigger team compared to Clemson, so definitely need to lower the shoulder and deliver the boom. Oh, big tackle by Clemson.
That was high.
Too high. Oh, high.
Well, it wasn't like illegally high. It was just a little too high.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Clemson has possession now, trying to charge their way up the field. This is going to be one of the...
That was not a knock because it was off her knee, but it looks like possession's going to turn over.
All right.
Oh, she is calling it a knock. Okay, I thought it was off the knee. You're not allowed to throw the ball or knock the ball forward in rugby, so
Yeah.
if it comes off the hands or the elbows or basically anything that's not a foot or a face, you do a scrum, which is
Okay.
basically where the forwards, who tend to be our larger players, come together, 8 players on each side. It's a big pushing game.
Yeah, you had to push it, and then once you get past the ball, someone can grab it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once the ball gets to the foot of either a flanker or an 8-man, the scrum half can pick the ball out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like this is definitely an opportunity for State to show off their physical superiority here.
Yeah, for
Really
sure.
hoping. Clemson had when we played them in the fall, their team was definitely a lot bigger. It looks like they've lost some of their bigger players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what they lack in physicality, they definitely make up for in their experience.
Oh, nice. That was a good tackle. Clemson's 8-man is not someone who's easy to tackle.
Now, is there a definition for that play right there where they had to kind of reach the ball backwards? It's not a scrum, but
That's a ruck.
A
So
ruck.
basically, it's a way to maintain or gain possession of the ball.
okay. Oh, Clemson's
Come
working
on,
their way
Claire.
down.
Come
my
on,
God.
Claire. Nice tackle. That was Claire. She's new, but she plays 15.
Yeah. Big tackle there by Claire
That,
Steffen.
It's a great tackle.
so Clemson just low. They regained it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
State already showing off their size. I mean, Clemson might have some more speed, but those tackles are insane.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Gotta love a good knock.
Yeah, that was Alicia Williams for Clemson working her way down the sideline and showing off that speed. But once again, big tackle by Claire Steffen to eventually get us the Wolfpack possession back. Or at least we have a scrum here, I believe.
So our scrums should be a little bit stronger than they are.
Yeah.
But we only started practicing this scrum formation with these people probably Thursday, so they've
Oh,
only
yeah,
been.
so definitely
Yeah.
unfamiliar territory.
Yeah.
And that'll be one of the recurring themes of this game, as mentioned before.
Got a pretty good crowd out here today on a rather cold day, but we got a good turnout. Got a lot of Wolfpack supporters out here out from at the field. Oh,
Come on, Nicole.
Clemson was able to push right through the NC State line. Now they're working it up the right sideline. Oh, drop it.
Excellent. Nice, Nasso. Out. Push her out. Push her out.
Great tackle there.
So we're going to have a line out. Basically like soccer, ball goes out of bounds. Not the ball carrier, if the ball itself goes out of bounds. So the ball carrier, as long as the ball is in, they can step a foot out, they can step most of their body out, but the ball goes out, we have a line out.
Yeah, we have a line out here for Clemson on the right sideline.
Nicole Harmon's going to be throwing the ball in. Come on, Nicole.
Oh, excuse me, that's
Nice.
for NC State. My bad. I could not see.
That's all right. So we had a knock on
On-
Goose, who's number.
okay.
Yeah, our
Okay.
team.
So that's when they advanced it to forward. Okay. So does that result in a
Another
scrum?
scrum,
Another
yeah.
Scrum? Okay.
So a knock forward's always going to be a scrum,
Okay.
which sucks when you
Yeah.
have to be in a scrum every 2 or 3 minutes because
Yeah.
it is exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does one team like get an advantage in the scrum, or is it evenly matched whenever they call one?
So if your team knocks the ball, the other team gets to put the ball in.
Okay.
So their scrum half is just going to roll the ball closer
Yeah,
to
yeah.
their team's feet, and you have a hooker who's going to be right in the middle of everything, who grabs the ball with her foot and pushes it back.
Okay.
So that was wheeling. You're not allowed to wheel a scrum past 45 degrees.
Okay.
So
So that results in NC State being able to throw the ball into the scrum.
yes, because depending on who wheeled, and it looks like they may have called the wheeling on us.
Oh, on us,
So
okay.
Clemson's gonna put in again.
Yeah, it's got to be physically draining to be in a scrum
Yeah.
constantly. And definitely, NC State's physicality, it might play in later in this game, just being able to wear down Clemson.
Yeah.
Hopefully later in the game.
Luckily, our team's pretty flexible. We have 3 players who can switch between 3 or 4 different positions, which means we can change that scrum formation anytime we want.
Just get some fresh legs in there.
Yeah,
and
it gets
stuff.
fresh legs in the front row.
Oh. It's a loose ball here.
Whew.
Believe
The
Wolfpack got it.
Yeah,
Nicely done. Nicely recovered by the Wolfpack.
that's a great recovery there. It's going to be interesting to see if they can get it across midfield.
So it's Jill
Jill,
with the, yep,
Team
there we
captain
go.
Jill Bridges.
Absolute
Yes.
tank.
Absolute unit, Jill Bridges, just pounding her way through.
Once again,
Yep, that's a high tackle.
we're already seeing the difference in play styles here. Clemson being the
Absolutely.
faster team. they're
Clemson's trying to
favoring-
spread them out.
Yeah, they're favoring the right. Meanwhile, State is using their size, and they're slowly but methodically moving up the field. It'll be interesting.
Jesus. So that was a penalty, and off of penalties, we usually like to kick the ball for touch because that means we can throw in a line out, and traditionally we have a really strong line out, but the ball didn't actually go out.
Okay, so they were trying to kick it out of bounds.
Yeah, we're trying to kick it out of bounds, but it didn't quite make it.
Uh-huh.
And there's a penalty.
Oh, ball right at us. Watch out, Gus. Our amazing cameraman, Gus, over there, almost got killed, but he's
Yeah.
all right.
It's the only hard part about rugby. You're always gonna watch your face. You never know.
All right, so we have a line out here for Clemson.
Come on, Nicole. That was a little not straight, but okay, cool. Lineouts have to go straight down the tunnel.
Okay.
And she kind of threw it straight to her team, but it's not always called. I know especially Tegan's a really good serve, but sometimes unless it's really extreme, she won't call it not straight, which I've definitely used to my advantage before.
Uh-huh.
But oh, good, that was a knock. So the tackler on our team didn't roll away. She was playing advantage, which means we had a penalty called against us, but she was just going to let the advantage play. But since the ball wasn't moving forward anymore, she called
Oh my
it.
goodness.
So that was a nice tackle by Goose.
Keith Kennedy for Clemson just barreling her way through the NC State
Yep.
line.
She is not a fun one to tackle. And Clemson's falling through their rucks. They're going to need to clean it up a little bit.
Yeah. And they're not doing the best of job wrapping up right now. That was a big tackle.
Nice. Pellegrino tackled their 13, and then Rooster had a really good tackle on the ball carrier.
Oh, there's an injury on the field for Clemson. Number 11, Lala Hemingway. Looks like she's in pain right now. Maybe got tackled a little low. Now, so the trainer's allowed to go out there in the middle of play?
Yeah, the sir will stop it eventually,
Okay.
but unless the play moves towards the injured player like it is now.
Oh, Jill Bridges lowering
nice
the boom.
Jill.
Lowering the head right into the head neck area of the Clemson player, and she is down as well.
That's why we always say tackle low, because you don't want to be anywhere near somebody else's head. Getting smacked in the head really sucks.
Yeah. And I noticed how some people wearing the little head guards, but some aren't.
Yeah, so it's a scrum cap. Really, it's used for locks who are forward players in the scrum because they have to stick their head between the hips of the props and the hooker. So it really just keeps your ears from getting torn off.
Okay.
Or I wear one because I have a couple of new piercings, can't take them out. You wear a scrum cap so you can kind of cheat and leave them in.
That's not. Number 22, Ellie Rowland coming in for the injured Lala Hemingway for Clemson.
All right, so Jill's going to kick for touch again. And
It's going to stay in
still
bounds.
in. That was a...
Oh.
Ooh.
Terrible injury there.
Yeah, awful. This would be number 13. Alicia Williams is definitely in some pain. Her legs kind of got tangled up and bent the wrong way.
That looked like a knee injury.
Yeah, it's got to be a little.
He's
That
walking
probably hurt.
it off.
She's walking it off.
That is impressive.
What a trooper.
That injury looked really scary.
Yeah.
It's really good to see her walking it off.
We also got lucky because our player NASA tackled their 13 high, and Tegan was on the wrong side and didn't see it. So good for us, but also we need to be tackling a lot lower. That's an issue we've had all season. It's hard when you're tall, but you know.
Yeah.
Better than getting a red card, not being able to play.
And you said the refs are called sirs?
Yes, traditionally it was just a term of respect, but the Southeast refs, their union is called SERR. So it does actually stand for sir. So, well, it was kind of a mall, and it fell apart.
We have a little ruck here in the middle at midfield for Clemson.
So Clemson's having a hard time staying on their feet in the rucks, which if they're not careful, Tegan may end up calling that because you have to be able to support your own weight in a ruck. So bridging is when your hands are on the ground and you're not supporting your own weight, and then diving in is what they call when you just like throw yourself into a ruck and you fall over. So they're doing both of those things right now.
Okay.
And to be fair, we are too a little bit, but
Yeah, and again, I think that can be attributed a little bit to the weather, but also definitely the physicality of NC State.
yeah.
Great gain of possession there for the
Yeah,
Wolfpack.
absolutely. Got a little rock.
Got it back.
Now moving left. Jill Bridges
Jill
lowering the
Bridges.
shoulder.
So they need to go out to the wing.
Yeah, you got to work it wide. Got to work it
There you
wide.
go. Go wide, go wide, go wide. Run, NASA, run, NASA. Stay in,
NASA
stay in.
down the sideline.
Ooh. That was a really good job of keeping the ball in.
That ball's out of
And that's
bounds.
okay. Now it's out.
That's going to be the line out for
Clemson.
Clemson, yes.
Yeah, we took the ball out.
Yeah.
Definitely the most explosive possession there for the Wolfpack so far.
No, it's a matrix max. You can't bring your player back on.
No, it's a matrix match.
So a matrix match is a conference game. This means that you have a limited number of subs. You
Okay,
get,
so it's like soccer essentially. where you
yeah.
can- They have to
So
stay off.
that was also not a blood sub, but you know. So you can only go back in if you are bleeding. So it's called a blood sub.
Okay.
So you're bleeding, you get to come off. They'll put someone else on until you've stopped bleeding. It's really just a safety thing, but if you come off the field for any other reason, then you have to stay off for the rest of the game.
Okay. Clemson's trying to working on the left side of the field. Big tackle there by Alex Fisk. The Wolfpack sideline is starting to get into the game a little bit more.
Low, 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 low. Watch the wing. Nice.
Big tackle by Alex Fisk. Big tackle.
Well,
Number 13 for Clemson,
keep
Alicia
playing,
Williams.
keep playing!
Pushing it up the field.
Oh, working up the middle now.
Big run by Rooster. Nice. She did a really good job of keeping her feet there and waiting for support.
Yeah, now we've got a ruck here for the
Kind
Wolfpack.
of.
Oh,
So that was Clemson wasn't rolling away. And then Alex just took a quick tap, which means she just tapped it through the mark and went. And because Clemson wasn't back 10 and tried to tackle her, she was able to gain a bunch of ground. And we're now playing advantage.
nice. There appears to be an injury, though, for the Wolfpack. Someone is down. Can't really tell who. Jill Bridges is just pounding her way through the Clemson defense. I think
Trainer's going out to take a look.
Yeah.
Oh, Clemson came away with the ball. They're working it back up the field. That is a very interesting concept, how the trainer can just go out there in the middle of play. But I understand you just want to keep the game rolling, keep the momentum.
That was a great tackle there a few moments ago by the Pack. There was no one down the field.
Yeah.
And she escaped that tackle.
Clemson's
Would've
doing a
been bad.
really, really good job of using their wings.
Absolutely. Big tackle by NASA.
Seeming to favor to the right side.
So big player needs to be tackled a lot lower, but
And I think that just goes back to the inexperience of the
Yeah.
Wolfpack team.
Yeah, definitely.
They haven't got as many games under their belt. Definitely a game that they can look back on and fix some stuff. But at the end of the day, they're still right in the middle of this game.
we played all last semester.
Yeah.
So this is our first game of the spring, but for the most part, we've been playing all year. We had a game last weekend. It was just a friendly against Camp
okay.
Lejeune. So we're not necessarily a new team. There are a few newer players, but it comes down to when you're tired, you sometimes do the wrong thing instead of the right thing.
And after the first 4 or 5 scrums to begin the game,
Yeah.
we're already
Yep.
taking a physical toll. And we're not even halfway through the first half.
And it's really,
Yeah.
and as you said, in the Matrix match, they can only have so many subs, which makes it really a lot more tough on your
Yeah.
legs.
The injured player for the Wolfpack is now back up. Trainer coming off the field. It looks like the injured player was.
I think that was
It was
Alex
Alex
Fisk.
Fisk.
Alex Fisk. Yeah, she was down. She's back. She's a fighter. Clemson's just gonna kick that
So it
away,
looks
hope for a
like-
line out, but
Oh, it
stayed
stayed
in
in.
bounds.
Kind of. I don't know what they're calling.
Hard to tell from this side.
Ah.
It's a good defensive battle thus far, almost halfway through
Yeah.
the first half, and still no score.
I'm honestly pretty proud of our team so far. We're holding them off really well.
Especially for a Clemson team that played so well last semester.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Clemson's
3-1.
working it up the right
They're-
sideline.
They're a team that's really fit.
Uh-huh.
And you're seeing that there as
And
they run up the
yeah, we're
sideline.
seeing it right now. And that's hard for us because technically we're a very skilled team, but we have a lot of problems when it comes to fitness.
Uh-huh.
And that tends to bite us in the butt later on.
Yeah. Little ruck here for Clemson.
Nice,
Oh,
Amanda! Well,
That was a great gain of possession, but
okay. So,
oh, there's she
yeah,
got
we have a
blood.
blood sub.
So yeah, she obviously got popped in the mouth somewhere. Or the no. Oh no, that's a bloody
There we
nose.
go.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Plugged it up and she's back in. Tell you what, rugby players, there's some tough people, man.
Yeah.
I could not go back out there, but
That was Barron with the hit to the face.
Yeah, Lindsay's a really impressive player. Getting tackled by, she can tackle people 3 times her size and do something we call a dump tackle, which basically you pick them up and slam them back down. She can dump tackle any person on this field right now, and it really doesn't feel good at all.
She doesn't even seem phased by the
I feel like
injury.
you've been on the receiving end of that too
yep.
many times.
Too many times.
We got a scrum here. About midfield. Wolfpack's they've been struggling in their scrum so far this game. They're really going to win this one and get their momentum go back their way.
So what we're looking for is Nicole, our hooker, to hook the ball defensively, which basically means that when Clemson feeds it, she's going to try to steal the ball from their Clemson hooker. And defensively, she is a really, really good hooker. She hasn't been quite as aggressive as she usually is, but this is the first time she's started in a matrix game, so that probably has a lot to do with it.
Just feeling a little bit more pressure here today. But let's see if the Wolfpack can get on the right side of the scrum here for pretty much the first time in the match. Seems to be a lay of some sort.
Yeah, and you kind of heard the Clemson coach, but we are kind of catching our breath. That's the fun thing about a scrum is if your team is tired, we do what we like to call a slow scrum. So it's like you keep blowing it up for no reason or setting it up really slowly so you can take a minute and catch your breath, which really helps when, 1, you're trying to run down the time, and 2, you're tired.
Is there a certain limit to the amount of time you can
No.
set up? Okay.
Because you want your scrums to be safe because they are very dangerous. So if anyone on your team doesn't feel comfortable for any reason, you're allowed to blow it up.
Gotcha. Oh, they're going to cut right back up the
That
middle.
was a good
Big tackle.
That was number 12, Pellegrino.
She's had a couple good tackles here early in the game.
Yeah, she's a grad student at State. She came from a school in New York where she played rugby. That was another, we just got really, really lucky because that could have been called as a high tackle.
Now, how high does it need to be a high tackle?
Your tackle cannot be above somebody's shoulders. So if you have an arm wrapped up above their shoulders or around their neck, that's a high tackle.
Okay. Oh, NC State gains possession.
So that's number 9, Cream. She's our scrum half, and she didn't really place the ball super well. We got lucky and we were able to regain possession. But if you let the ball go flying out like that, it can technically be out of the ruck. Like right now, that ball's out of the ruck. We got lucky, though, because Clemson's player wasn't rolling away. It looks like she may have had a head injury. So that's why you don't tackle people and pull them onto your head. Yep, yeah.
Lots of injuries here early in the game.
Getting back up, though.
Yes.
It's always a good thing to see.
That was number 7, Maggie Redford for Clemson, who was down for a brief moment, but she's back up.
Yeah.
Ready to
Laughing
continue.
it off and walking it off.
You tend to only make that mistake once.
You live and learn quickly. And there's NC State's going to try and boot this out of bounds. Oh, right to Maggie.
I didn't want it. No, thank you.
She's enjoying her day here in the booth.
So that should be our throw-in. Yes, that's our throw-in. Hold on. Nicole, you can be more aggressive. So because that was our penalty and we kicked it out, we do something called kick for touch. We get to throw it back in. Yeah. So we do that to advance down the field.
And that one was more down the middle, and Clemson's going to be able to gain possession because of that.
We also lost our jumper last semester, who was she was really great. It didn't matter what ball was thrown by who, she could usually catch it. So we are kind of recovering from that. And it looks like there's another knock.
Physical just absolutely bullying her way through that line, though.
Absolutely. We have a scrum here at midfield. It looks like NC State's going to be rolling it in after a knock by Clemson.
Okay, so it looks like they switched hookers. Like I said, we have a really, really flexible scrum. So we've switched the prop. We switched our locks at this point, and now we just switched our hooker.
Clemson's pushing. It looks like Clemson's getting game possession.
Yeah.
It's number 8, Keith Kennedy, plowing her way up the field after getting the ball out of the scrum. Clemson's just just outpowering like NC State right now. They're winning the physical game, and that should be a strength of NC State today. They're gonna have to clean that up here in the last half of the second half.
Luckily, we're pretty scrappy. We tend to do something called we hold the balls up during tries, so you have to place the ball on the ground. And I know last semester during our Clemson game, we held the ball up from getting a try multiple times. So we play our best defensive 5 meters from the try line.
Yet another injury out on the field. Clemson player down, trainers out taking a look.
That's going to be number 20, Nim Paladi. Well, I don't know how to say that. We're going to say Neem. That is Neem. She's down. Looks to be a leg injury of some sort.
Yeah, that looks like another knee.
And this is just a nice time for NC State to get their legs underneath themselves and just get some water, hydrate, rest the legs a little bit.
They're definitely going to need it if they want to win this physical battle.
Yeah, you hate to see an injury, but it's very beneficial right now to a very tight NC State team.
So technically, their coach is not allowed to talk to the sir. He is really bad about that. Got in trouble during Clemson. He's really, really, really not allowed to do that. If I were NC State's captain, I would tell the sir that he's not allowed to be coaching or allowed to walk on the field or allowed to do anything.
He's literally out at midfield right now talking to her.
Yeah, so Tegan just said, don't talk to me. So during rugby, you have one speaking captain per team. That is the only person on the team allowed to talk to the sir. One, this keeps players polite, and two, it makes it a little bit easier to communicate on the field. So if you're having issues in a scrum or issues with the other team, that's something you talk to the sir about, or if you have a question about a call. But everything goes through the captain.
Number 20 now being walked off the field.
Number 17, Joe Whitmore is heading on in replacement. So you said you've had a couple run-ins with the Clemson coach doing the same thing?
Yeah, he did that a lot last semester too.
Gotcha. Wind's starting to pick up a little bit here.
Yeah, it's going to make lineouts a lot more fun.
Yeah.
When we were practicing earlier, Nicole and I were talking. It's like you gotta wait for the downswing of the wind and call it really fast and throw it really fast.
Also could make the tries interesting as well.
So we're gonna kick for touch again.
So you're just gonna kick it out of bounds, hope for a
Yeah,
line out.
probably right to us, but you know.
All right, might want to put my paper down. Get my hands ready. Watch out, Gus.
Oh no, she's gonna kick it off the other way.
Never mind.
But it stayed in, and that's a knock because their player dropped it forward. So another scrum.
Another scrum with NC State rolling it in.
That's gonna make second half really long. Because once you do a lot of scrums in the first half, you do not want to do any in the second half, especially because Clemson has a bigger team. They're going to keep blowing us off.
Physical toll so far in this half has been just ridiculous. I mean, there's 15 minutes or 14 and a half minutes remaining in the half, and you've already seen so many injuries and so many scrums.
Yeah,
already taking
a lot of
major
scrums.
toll.
And NC State has not been able to really win any of them.
No.
It's just
Yeah. Even if we can hook the ball and gain it to our side, they are driving so much that the ball it can't stay on our side.
yeah.
So what we're probably going to see is a lot less of the scrum half taking the ball out of the back of the scrum and more flankers and 8-man picking the ball out when it comes to their feet,
Oh,
which
it's-
Alex Fisk just did right there.
yeah. Alex can
Just
come over the
bowling
ball.
our way through midfield.
Tackled at midfield. We're gonna have a little ruck here for NC State. Their game possession. They'll work their way towards the left side of the field. See if they can get the momentum going.
Ooh.
Shake and bake, baby. Big possession here
Lindsey
for NC
Barron
State.
with the jukes.
Absolutely. They're working it back to the left. Oh,
That was a nice
Big
offload
toss.
by NASA. We're going to try to move the ball back down the other side of the field.
pitch to Jill Bridges. She's just gonna lower her
Jill
shoulder.
pushing her way through that line.
Yeah, Jill's having one of the best games I've seen her have all year.
Just being an absolute unit and just lowering that shoulder.
A literal cheat
Oh,
code.
Alex Fisk lowering the shoulder as well. Oh, Clemson's gonna pile drive. NC State
Yeah.
back. Big tackle there. State's gonna keep possession. Looks like no. Clemson's
No,
gonna come with the ball.
Clemson gained possession.
That was number 12, Mary Parakta, who gained possession there for
Yeah.
Clemson.
That was nice. They blew us off the ruck because we didn't have enough people in it, and we're able to gain possession. That's why rucks are so important, because it's a really great way if you're the defensive team. The offensive team can get complacent with their rucks,
Yeah,
and you just knock them off.
Now, if you have a ruck and they're like holding the ball backward, do you have time to get people? If you don't have enough people, do you have time for them to jump up, or do you have to kind of do it very
No,
quickly?
you kind of have to jump on it the second you see it happen. So during a ruck, we have something called a gate. You can only enter through the gate, which is the hips to shoulders. So depending on how you place the ball, you can kind of like open or close the gate.
Gotcha. And
Oh, jeez.
once again, it's Keith
Yeah.
Kennedy for NC State coming away with the ball out of the ruck.
That was a collapse
Or
scrum.
scrum.
Those are not great.
2 players slow to get up there.
Yeah, those are hard. That's the worst part about being in a scrum is they collapse, especially when you're in the front row or you're a lock, because there is nowhere for you to go.
Clemson's gonna go right back up the middle. And again up the middle. I'm just gonna boot it.
That
NC
was
State.
really dangerous.
Right,
NC
NC
State's gonna come away. She's
Oh
working
my
down the right
goodness, oh my
sideline.
And Rooster's gonna
working
take
away.
it all the way. She's put it down. There we go.
Wow.
Nice.
And it looks like a error by Clemson has resulted in an NC State score.
Super costly for Clemson there.
Kicked it right to the Wolfpack.
Yeah.
What was the reasoning behind that?
So basically, they wanted to move the ball down the field, and they made a mistake. And instead of just kicking it straight down, they kicked it right to one of our wings. And your
Gotcha.
wings tend to be your fastest players.
So, so they tried. They kicked it a little too far wide.
Yeah. They were hoping that maybe one of their faster players would be able to get there first. They kicked it straight to one of ours, and she just kind of ran right through them because they weren't ready. So we got a little lucky, but you
Hey,
take what you can get.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely perfect for the Wolfpack there. First score of the game.
And Alex Fisk is gonna attempt to try here.
So this is not a great angle, and I
Yeah.
don't know if she's going to end up making it.
I saw her practicing one from a similar angle in warm-ups. It was a little wide,
Yeah, she was making a few of them,
but
but our
and,
usual kicker is out on an injury and has been since last fall.
and obviously the wind's gonna play a factor as well. That one's gonna come up a little
Yeah.
short. That's all right.
Yeah.
The Pack still leads 5-0 here with a little less than 10 minutes left in the first half.
Yeah. So if I were them, I would run the timeout as much as I could.
And recuperate during the half.
Yeah, this is a rather low-scoring game though compared to the last one I called. It was very high-scoring. I think we played Queens.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Queens is the only varsity team in our conference. They formed their brand new team, but they took some of the best players from UNC Charlotte. It's Charlotte's coach and some of their best players. So obviously there's a little bit of a beef between UNC Charlotte and Queens right now, but they're in different divisions, so they don't play each other.
Queens is the next game for the Pack, right?
Yeah, and we played against them really, really well last semester, and we were actually, I think we had the lowest scoring difference between them and our team and our entire conference. And honestly, we went into that game going, we know we're going to lose, but let's see if we can make it not that bad. And we did a really nice job of that.
And I remember calling that game. We looked up scores previous, and they played Clemson. They beat them by quite a larger margin than State lost by. So there's definitely
And for Clemson to be 4-2, that's impressive.
And they were pretty dominant in conference play in the fall season.
3-1. Clemson was.
It's interesting because Clemson has been our first matrix game both semesters now, and we've had a semester of practice under our belt because we are playing so much better.
And you're seeing that now.
Yeah, as we said, Clemson did defeat the Wolfpack in the fall season. They mentioned it was a last-second win, though.
Yeah, we a lot of times, like in football or other sports, games can come down to who's calling them. And there were a few calls against us and for Clemson that really, really hurt us.
Player down on the field for the Wolfpack.
So you guys had the Saints-Rams rest, I guess, for that matchup.
Clemson is dangerously close now.
And Clemson has scored as well. They have just tied up the game here with about 7.5 minutes left.
That was a quick score by
pending
Clemson.
try.
Yeah, usually the way these games go, we like to give up a try right in the first 5 minutes, and because we didn't do that, apparently we're going to give up a try right after we make one. But, it's the way it goes.
Just how fast the game changes, too. I mean, the first 30 minutes, there were no scores, or first 29, whatever it was. And then instantly, 2 scores within 4 minutes of each other.
And we played most of the game on the middle of the field. It looks like most of our tries are going to be from breakaway runs. It's going to be a defensive game, that's for sure.
Not the greatest angle here for Clemson either, and that one's going to come up short as well.
Yeah.
So we have a 5-5 game here going the last 6 minutes of the half. It's a good run here. Starting to warm up a little bit too. I like this. I like the sun coming out a little bit.
So if Iowa State, we did this against them last semester, but as the team who's kicking off, you can kick the ball whenever you want. And we were running out of time second half and ran up to the line. We were all tired, but you just kind of kick off before they're ready and you can regain possession.
So with about 6 minutes left, is this just a time where State's just going to want to kind of run the clock out just because they're so tired?
Yeah, this is the last 5-6 minutes of a game or when you lose it.
Yeah.
So honestly, the more they run out the time, the better.
And Clemson's going to work back up the right side here. Big tackle at midfield.
Kennedy again charging away through.
Yeah, Kennedy is definitely their enforcer. Big tackle there by the Wolfpack. I think Jill Bridges was involved in that one. It looks like there's a few too many holes in the Wolfpack line, though.
Yeah, we have a hard time with bunching. So usually you want to be in a flat line during. That was playing it off the ground. Yes. So their player picked it up when she was on the ground, and you're not allowed to play the ball when it's on the ground.
Got you.
But yeah, we have a hard time with bunching because you want to be in a flat line. But that's one of those things that we keep trying to fix it, and it just doesn't quite work. So
that one's going to be out of bounds for a line out for State. Well placed by Jill Bridges there. It's going to be Nicole Harmon throwing it in here for the Wolfpack. As you said, the wind might play a factor here in this line out.
Oh, it will definitely play a fact. Yep.
And State's going to come away with it.
Nice.
Well played.
That was probably an obstruction, but Tegan's not going to call it, so that's cool.
Oh, right through the middle. Alex Fisk.
There goes Fisk once again.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Big spin move out of the tackle.
Nice.
Now they're trying to work it right a little bit. We tackled. We're going to have a little ruck here for State. Maybe they should try to work it back to the left side.
There we go.
And right back in the middle. Yeah, I would go left here for the Wolfpack, but lowering the shoulder.
Pick the ball, pick the ball, pick the ball. Ah, bones. That was the wrong decision. Our scrum half was in the ruck, and our number 5 should have just picked the ball and ran, but instead threw it to a smaller player, which is never a good idea. But, you know.
It's got to be tough on the Sur, only having one of them out there.
Yeah, they don't see everything, and we definitely all take that and kind of run with it.
Yeah.
We have a lot of the same sirs, so you kind of learn who calls what when.
Oh,
And if you know a
good play
sir is
there.
not gonna call something, you take advantage of it.
Great play there by Clemson to keep that one in bounds. Just under 3 minutes here in the first half. Clemson's deep in their own territory, though. Kind of backs up against the wall here. Wolfpack's going to have to make some noise, maybe try and score before the end of the half. Big tackle by Alex.
Ooh. So that was almost a dumb tackle. You do have to be careful with those because you're not allowed, someone's hips are not allowed to come above their shoulders because that's a dangerous
Yeah.
tackle. But a dumb tackle done right will knock the wind out of somebody.
Big tackle there by Jill Bridges as well.
Ooh, that's a knock. Number 8 dropped it. Ooh, that could be fun. It may not happen, but we were talking about kicking for points, which means kind of like in football.
Like a field goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're close enough, you can drop kick the ball, and it's got to go above the bar. So it's not easy, but it's an option, and it's something we've kind of talked about.
Now,
I don't think we've ever done it in a game.
So you can do that instead of going to a scrum?
Probably not.
Or is it something
And because it was a knock, so like we didn't have a choice.
Okay. Is it something that
So-
you do in the middle of play, you just kind of drop it, or is it like a dead ball? Like
You can do it off of a penalty at a dead ball. You can also do it during the middle of play. And a drop kick and rugby kickoffs and kicking for points, the ball has to hit the ground before you can kick it.
Yeah. Clemson's going to try and make some noise here before the half, but I don't know if it's going to happen. This Wolfpack defense has definitely picked it up here lately. Try and spread them thin, that ball's going to be dropped.
So I think that looks like it was another knock. And also the fun part is, we don't actually know what time the ref has on her watch. My time's not super accurate because I haven't been turning it off all the way sometimes during back and forth injuries.
Under 30 seconds now in the half.
And I just got this update. UNC is trailing Miami by 1 with 3 minutes left in basketball today. So, see what happens. Let's go Canes.
Oh, that was cool. Okay. Jesus. That was a high tackle. Oops. Big tackle by Pellegrino.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, she's gonna be feeling that one tomorrow.
Yeah, you saw the ball instantly get jarred loose.
Clemson's really turned it on defensively. the ball was out of that ruck because no one's foot was over it, and it looks like we pushed that player out of, and that's half. Nice.
So that was a good defensive play there by
Yeah.
the Wolfpack in the half.
The ball's got to stay under the foot in a ruck, and the ball was outside of the ruck, which means there is no more line of scrimmage. It's usually 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll do standard.
This is Tristan Tucker with PackTV, here with
Ryan Pollard.
and we're here to recap the first half. It was a tightly contested game, 5-5 at the half. A lot of action in the midfield. You saw a lot of injuries there. A lot of players went down. One blood sub already, and you saw multiple scrums. It's been a really physical half. In order for State to come away with the win, they need to utilize their physicality more. They started to get beat physically. There was a lot of action in Wolfpack territory, and NC State can't afford to let that happen. They can't afford to get beat physically because that's the one advantage they have over this really athletic Clemson team. What does Clemson need to do if they have a chance to beat the Pack?
I think Clemson, they're doing a good job winning the scrums. They're definitely outperforming them physically in the scrums. Number 8, Kennedy. Every time she gets it, she just lowers her shoulder. I think they need to use their speed because they're a little lighter than NC State. So they need to use their speed, work on the wings, and kind of spread the ball out maybe, and just outpace the Wolfpack and kind of wear them down a little bit. I think that's their key to success.
And are you expecting a high-scoring half or a low-scoring half?
I don't know. The first half was a little low scoring. I expect kind of the same thing. Low scoring half, more defense. It is cold out here, but who knows? It's gonna be a great second half. That's all I know.
Be sure to stay tuned for the second half.
And we're back here with the second half action of NC State versus Clemson women's rugby. It's been a good contest so far, 5-5 in the first half, defensive battle. But I look forward to what the second half has to offer. It looks like Clemson's going to start off the second half with possession.
Ooh. Oh. Yeah. Well.
And Clemson's going to work it back to the left side. Kennedy once again lowering the shoulder, trying to power way through. Sends it back out to the left, trying to use that speed. Works around the corner. Got a big tackle there by Lindsay.
Ooh. Nice tackle.
Alex Fisk with a big tackle, and the Clemson player is down.
Yeah, she's definitely going to be feeling that one. She got hit hard.
She's in pain.
Yeah, that one hurt.
Getting up slowly.
That was Bailey Kinsley for Clemson, who's down briefly. She's back up. She's trying to shake it off. Meanwhile, Clemson's trying to work it back up the field. They're working it back left. Kennedy once again lowering the shoulder.
Yeah.
And
This is.
kind of more of the same from the first half, just a very physical battle.
Yep.
Both teams aren't really trying to spread it wide. They're more so trying to take it up the middle.
Yeah, there's been a lot of midfield action.
And Clemson's doing a much better job of it than we are. We've kind of gotten lazy again when it comes to tackling.
Oh, that's a loose ball. Oh, stiff arm right to the face. Number 11, Alyssa Cox.
Clemson's been really electric to start this half.
Absolutely.
Half was really beneficial.
Oh, we have an injury for the Pack here.
Our number 9 is down. And that's going to be a time off for an injury.
Number 9, Cream down.
Clemson's doing a really good job. They've cleaned it up a lot.
Yeah.
And we haven't. So unless we clean it up, they're I can't actually say that. But we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Yeah, she just tackled her wrong and yanked her shoulder back.
Looks like it's going to be number 18, Cass Sorosa, coming in.
I don't know if it was that bad.
Probably just more shaken up.
It
than
probably
anything.
just hurt really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
The cold
Yeah.
weather doesn't help, certainly.
Yeah, no, not at all.
welcome back to the broadcast. We had an unfortunate injury for NC State. Had to bring the ambulance out. Hope for the best. She's off and away now to get treatment for what seemed like
It ended up being a head injury.
head injury.
To number 9, Cream.
But now we're ready to put the remainder of this game. Hopefully injury-free.
And I don't know who. Oh, okay. So they put Darian in at scrum half, and then Casarosa in at prop. So we've just, like I said, we have a really flexible team, although this does take away a little bit of the flexibility we did have.
And State's can come away with the ball. Looks
Oh,
like.
that was a high tackle. Jesus. That was wrapped up around her neck, which was high, but Tegan was on, when the sir's on the wrong side,
Yeah, she couldn't
you can't see
She
it.
couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
Got a
It's hard to remember that sometimes, but.
Yeah.
Got a line out here for Clemson.
Oh.
And they're going to push it back to the right side. Trying to spread the pack out a little
That is
bit.
a really good
Big
tackle
tackle.
by Pellegrino.
Pellegrino's had a lot of good tackles here today.
Yeah, she's another really, really hard hitter. And there's Pellegrino again with the tackle. So, ooh.
Now Clemson's moving left.
Ooh,
Oh, drop
that's
ball.
a knock. But we got lucky. Or, well, they got lucky.
Kennedy pushing her way through once again.
Yeah, Kennedy's, every time she touches the ball, she's lowering her shoulders. She's going forward today.
Yeah, their primary enforcer.
Yeah, Clemson really lucked out with her as a player because not only is she big, but she runs hard and fast, and she's good into contact.
Absolutely. Definitely their team MVP today thus far.
And she's also having a good game. She's playing better than she did when she played against us last semester.
Got a little ruck here
And
for
that's-
Clemson. They're trying to work it back left.
Oh,
missed
Rooster
tackle there by
almost
Rooster.
tackled with her face.
Clemson player down on the field.
Definitely a lot of injuries here
Yeah.
today. A lot more than last time I
What
broadcasted.
are we talking about?
Slow to get up, but is getting up.
Appears to be a line out here for the Wolfpack.
Yep, it's going to be a line out.
I did not see the ball go out of bounds, but alrighty.
Sir, you are not allowed to talk to players. Please shut up.
Oh, so he can't even talk to his own players?
Well, he was talking to our players.
Oh. Okay, my bad, yeah.
And good on Nicole for ignoring him. She was nicer than I probably would have been.
Oh, that ball gets through. And it looks like it's going to be the pack.
Clemson
Clemson
comes
fought.
away with it.
Yep.
Clemson got
When
But-
the ball's on the ground like that, sometimes the best thing you can do is dive on it. But
pack, get it back
we
there.
got possession back, maybe. Okay. Hands were in the ruck on Clemson, so it's going to be our penalty.
This is another instance where they just wanted to put it out of bounds.
So we're going to kick for touch,
again.
I think we should probably just do something else at this point because those aren't working out for us.
Is there, what else? What other,
Oh,
great
nice
tackle there.
tackle.
Yet
What-
another one by Pellegrino.
It's just
what other options are there for that?
so you can either just run the ball into contact, but the second that ball touches your foot, Clemson can come up or the other team can come up. Oh! So Bones just took the ball right out of their 8-man's hands. That's why you do not run with the ball out in front of you.
Looks
So
like-
right now, it's just a hot mess. It was not offsides. The ball was out. And I honestly,
Yeah, it's a
and
big
they're
mess.
in
Kennedy's got
it.
it back.
That was a big mess right there at midfield.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
I don't think any team really had
that ball is
possession.
out and that's obstruction, but okay, cool. We're not calling. You can't run behind your own players if you have the ball. That's obstruction. That was picking it off. Okay, cool. We're just great. Ball's out.
Both teams
They're
just
gonna run it
going
out
at
to
it.
their backs. Yeah, that was a
hot mess.
that was a lot.
That was a hot mess.
So it looks like the Wolfpacks kind of picked it back up again. And wow.
Just kind of gave it away there.
We're about to hear Clemson's coach yelling a lot more. He's going to start getting really pissed off.
Even though he can't.
Well, yeah. It is what it is.
Oh, he's talking to his captain, it seems like.
Yeah, now he's talking to the captain. So offsides in rugby, you have to be behind the back foot in a ruck. So there's really not a line of scrimmage until a ruck is formed. But if there's not a ruck or the ball is out of the ruck, there is no offsides. So a lot of what we saw in front of us just now was a lot of the ball going back and forth, and there wasn't really a ruck anywhere. And honestly, if I were taking it, I wouldn't have called anything either because you just can't see anything. Ooh, that was knocked back, so it's not going to be a knock. But it's carried right back out, so we're going to have a Clemson line out.
And Clemson has won a majority of lineouts here today. See the Wolfpack can finally create an answer to this. And that didn't seem to be down the middle either, right there.
No.
But once again, you said the serve's
Yeah.
not really used to calling that.
Yeah, so Tegan usually as a serve when we've had her in the past, she won't call not straight unless it is a very, very, very clear you are throwing it to your team.
Uh-huh.
Which again, both teams are using to their advantage today. So
Clemson comes out of the ruck, working it back up the middle.
oh, that ball is out. I have no idea what that call was.
Definitely haven't seen
Playing it on the ground, maybe? It's a penalty against Clemson. My guess is they played the ball on the ground.
Definitely haven't seen as many scrums this half.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, that's a good
it's
thing.
It's hurting me just watching it.
Looks like it's
That was nice. That ball actually went out, thank God.
yeah, looks like it's gonna be a line out here for NC State.
So that's what you usually want kick for touch to be because we just gained about 20 meters.
Uh-huh.
So it's an easy 20 meters without as much work.
Yeah.
And if I were Nicole, I would maybe not throw our usual throws. I'd throw something else just because Clemson's been winning the lineouts. Unfortunately, we did. Oh, maybe she is throwing something different. Nice. So she just threw to our front lifter. And Clemson gained possession. Solid.
Oh, dang.
Big tackle by Goose.
Absolutely. Oof. And Clemson's going to try and work it back. Oh, they're going to
Oh,
boot
they're
it
going to
right.
kick it right to Lindsay, which is also not a good idea.
Oh, the ball's loose.
Oh.
Oh, ball.
Whoa.
The ref has.
I don't know what any of that was. I'm going to go with, I think it's a knock.
A lot of sloppiness for both sides.
Yeah,
to
here
start
this
half.
and that break with the injury timeout didn't help either.
Yeah, no.
Especially sitting around in the cold,
Mhm.
muscles
Yeah.
tense up a little bit. looks
So
like
it looks like it's a knock on us, and it's gonna be Clemson's scrum.
so we have a scrum here deep inside of Clemson territory though. So Wolfpack can somehow get the ball here that in prime position to score.
If I were Jill at 8, if we were able to defensively win this scrum, my bet would be to do an 8-man pick and go up the side. If we're not able to win the scrum, they need to look for Kennedy, their 8, picking the ball. Because, again, if I were Kennedy, I would just pick the ball and either chuck it to somebody who can kick it or just make a run up the field. And because she's so hard to tackle, she
Yeah.
would be able to do that. But if they do end up kicking the ball, oh my God, I literally cannot stand him. So we can take as much time as we would like on the scrums.
Yeah, as you said in the first half, you can.
Because you need to worry about your
It's
players being
safety.
safe.
Yeah.
On top of that, it's also a strategy, and he's just pissed off. So
And-
she's going to kick it,
yep.
and I promise you it's going to go to a really fast player. Yep.
Yep.
So
Instantly
that
tackled,
ball
though.
did not get as far as they would have liked it to have gotten.
Yeah. Instantly hit though. Good
And
recovery
they're
there
still
by
fighting
Clemson.
for it. Oh. There was no ruck formed, so Clemson's gained possession of the ball. It's out now.
Clemson's gonna take it back up the middle. They're able to break free. Rough. Oh, big tackle there.
Oh, what are we calling?
Great tackle by Barron there.
Okay, that was an offsides, but technically. Oh my God, he's so obnoxious. That is not what that was. I'm gonna throw the score thing at him. It's so much less obnoxious when you're on the field and can't hear half the stuff he says. Jesus. Ooh, she tackled herself. I'll take it.
Clemson's gonna clear with a ruck, trying to move up the right side of the field. Kennedy once again with the ball, trying to
Kennedy just charging her way through.
like a giant bowling ball, trucking through the Wolfpack defense. Trying to work it back the other way now. Oh, down goes
Ooh,
Jill Bridges.
Big rock. Oh, and that's a knock. They're calling I think they're calling a penalty. I have no idea what they're doing right now. Oh, what a ruck.
Clemson once again comes away with it.
Yeah, Clemson's really good at regaining that possession.
Absolutely.
But
Alex Fisk pile driving back the Clemson player. Now I do gotta ask, how often do you get does like your hand arm get stepped on?
too much.
Clemson breaking
It
away
happens
there.
a lot. One of the tricks they teach you, especially when you're a forward, is you keep your hand in a fist when you've got your hands on the ground during a scrum.
Got you.
But so we're starting to play a lot sloppier, which is going to cost us. I mean, that just cost us 20 meters,
Yeah.
which is rough. It's not something
Clemson's
you
just going
want.
away.
right through the Wolfpack defense, and
Oh.
last minute tackle is able to save the score for now. But Clemson is knocking on the door.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
Deep
We
in
need to
Wolfpack
clean it up.
territory. Got to use that physicality to get some more
Absolutely.
stops.
Oh, and they come away with the ball.
Come away.
That's.
ball.
It was technically under a foot.
Still a nice effort by Goose there.
All right, that's going to be time off for injuries, which honestly we need.
Couple Clemson players down now.
Yeah.
It's
been a really rough game. for
Yeah,
injuries.
Lots of injuries.
it's a physical game.
Yeah, definitely.
Both teams are being physical, and unfortunately, a lot of times when games are close like this, both teams tend to get aggressive. So you get a lot of extra physicality you didn't need. Um, I know that was a problem when we played USC last fall. We knew the ref and we knew what things she called and didn't call, so we were playing not. It wasn't our cleanest game as far as like we were not cheating, but she wasn't calling stuff, and that made USC angry, so they started playing a lot dirtier, more aggressive, which then we matched their aggression level, and we had a lot of injuries that game because, you know, when people start playing with hot heads, just you get hurt.
Starting to wonder if these injuries are kind of contributing to the sloppiness experienced by both sides.
Yeah,
They're
people
just-
are tired.
Yeah, tired and jarred.
And once again, you can't have like endless subs, which definitely takes
Yeah.
a toll eventually.
Gotta be frustrating for both
Yeah.
teams.
Like I said, we're going to start hearing a lot more from Clemson's coach.
Trainer is doing an excellent job.
Absolutely. Long day for him.
Yeah, I think
but
he's getting the most exercise here.
Kennedy's just gonna try and push her
Barrel all
way.
the way through, yeah.
They did a really nice job of stopping her. She only got a couple meters.
Sitting it wide right though, try and stretch out the path.
Yeah.
It's not working so far, but they're getting dangerously close.
It's hard to see from this angle just exactly how close they are, but they're definitely not gonna
I'm
go
going to
here.
guess that they're about 2 or 3 meters away from the try line. So they're going to try to hold up that try, which means the Wolfpack team is going to try to get their bodies or a hand.
Hold it from, or keep it from touching the ground.
Keep it from touching the ground, and that
And this is not gonna be successful.
they weren't able
though.
to do it.
It was a good effort, but Clemson
Yeah.
charged their way through one too many times.
Yeah, those penalties earlier really, really cost us.
Yeah.
So if we don't clean it up, we're going to see a lot more tries coming off of penalties like that.
So let's hope they can.
Clean it up.
Yeah, but also let's hope that Clemson doesn't make this kick. But that
If
seems like a
if
good
she
angle.
doesn't, I would get a new kicker.
Yeah, because that's very close. And
Yeah, that's a nice, close, high kick, which are usually pretty easy.
and easily through.
Yep, it's good.
Good for an extra 2 points.
Wolfpack, yep, they're going to have to clean it up here in the second part of the second half.
Now facing a 7-point deficit. First deficit of the game for the Wolfpack. It's going to be interesting to see how they recover.
I probably wouldn't have kicked the ball to Kennedy.
Yeah,
But that was an amazing tackle by Lindsay. She made that look easy.
Clemson's trying to work it up the right side a little bit. Wolfpack's defense is definitely going to have to hold stronger than the last possession.
It looks like we've cleaned up our defense a little bit, although we are bunching a lot more than we
big tackle there.
should. And it looks like the ball got kicked around, but Clemson still has possession.
Yeah, they're going to work it to the left side now. Never mind.
That
cut back
was
to
a
the middle.
mistake. That girl should have passed it out.
Kennedy once again charging her way through.
And Kennedy
Not-
ran smart there and just
Yeah.
ran right up the side of the rock where there weren't any defenders.
Yeah. thankfully she wasn't able to get too many meters on that.
Yeah, but it looks like she's getting up kind of slow.
Yeah, all these.
Which, honestly, I mean, she's had most of the runs this game,
Yeah,
so I would
absolutely.
also be getting up kind of
Yeah.
slow.
This game's definitely taking a toll on her body. Just that forceful
Most
nature.
definitely. I mean, most if not all pushes have come primarily through Kennedy there.
The ball's
Oh,
loose.
oh.
Clemson's gonna recover. Big tackle there by the Pack.
Another good tackle by Goose.
Ooh.
Oh,
God, that would hurt.
Barron with the excellent tackle there.
That, ooh. That's a maul, maybe? Nope, it's, okay. So a maul is when it's basically a standing scrum. It usually happens when the player who's carrying the ball can't put it down.
Number 5 for Clemson,
God.
slow to get up.
That was a big tackle by Pellegrino. And it looks like we've taken advantage. Nope, we didn't.
Oh,
Tegan's going to call the knock, though, but they tried to kick it. It just went straight into Pellegrino's hands.
it's hard to catch that without it getting a knock there.
Oh, it would hurt so bad.
Yeah.
A cold ball and your hand's cold. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would hurt.
Another injury timeout here.
Honestly,
That's number 5, hitting Kim for the Tigers.
I don't think we've ever played a game with this many injuries.
And cold weather does not help with that.
No, and I mean, it's honestly not that cold. We've played games colder than this.
It's also the first game of the season, so you're just getting back as well.
It doesn't help that it's a matrix because we have rolling subs during friendly games. You can
Yeah.
switch people in and out as much as you want. But during matrix, it's hard on your body because it's 80 minutes, and towards the end, you do tend to get either hurt or tired.
You can see some of the Clemson players running in place, just trying to stay warm. Well, the trainer's deserving of every penny he's getting paid today.
Most definitely.
That's all I gotta say. Seems like every other minute he's out there trying to tend to an injured player. And she's up.
No. Kim!
So it looks like Tegan's talking to the captains, probably about the not clean play on both sides. My guess is high tackles,
Yeah.
offsides.
There's definitely been a couple high tackles she's missed because she hasn't been in the best position.
It's just absolutely
Oh,
brutal.
she knows. She probably knows they're happening, but yeah. So both teams are getting a talking to right now.
Which is good. That it needs to be cleaned up. Not necessarily that it's intentional. It's just an electric game going on, and it's just been absolutely brutal.
First Matrix game,
Yeah,
definitely emotions
yeah.
are high.
hopefully this means that less injuries happen because there's been far too many.
Absolutely. When the EMS gets called, it's never a good day. First signals for play to begin though again. And we're going to start off with a scrum, I believe. I think Clemson rolling? I'm not sure.
You can definitely juxtapose this half with the last. There were so many scrums to begin the first half, and this is one of the first of this half.
Absolutely. And State's got to be very thankful for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just haven't been able to win many, and it's definitely taken a toll. Oh, that one's going to be kicked out.
Oh, and
Wolfpack
Darian
recover.
retains possession. Good for her.
Nicely done by the Pack there. It's going to be
So
Alex
pick and go
Phipps.
by Alex.
Wolfpack is deep in Clemson territory here. Got to capitalize on this possession.
Place the ball, place the ball. There we go. Okay. It's really worried they were going to pop it off the ground there, and that would not have been the right decision.
We're going to try and get wide to the left. Back right at the middle.
Pellegrino found a hole. Oh, ooh. Okay. So sometimes when you run the risk when you offload like that of the ball going everywhere. So sometimes it's just safer to take the ball.
Would this be a time the Wolfpack should try and work it back the other way?
Yeah.
This seems to be getting rather cramped over there. Instead, it's going to be Jill Bridges lowering the shoulder.
Oh, with a big run. Offload
Dished
to
to Alex
Alex, who might be able to take it in front. Oh, thank God.
Great score there.
And the Wolfpack,
That was a really good play.
and the Wolfpack are a try away from tying this game back up.
So Jill had a nice run and then offloaded it to Alex. That was the right time to offload. A lot of times we talk in rugby that individuals don't score points, team scores points, because the second you start playing the individual game, you start losing.
Great timing for the score there, especially even if they don't get the kick. It's only a 2-point game, and you've got plenty of time left on the clock, and Wolfpack certainly has momentum going for them.
And then when it comes to conference standings, points against you mean just as much as the points you make. So having a very, very even game like this is going to help us out a lot, especially after last semester, because we really struggled we were traveling every weekend, and that was hard on a lot of people, so we weren't playing at our best.
Doesn't seem to be too difficult of an angle here for Alex.
Yeah, it's...
That was going to come up short.
Yep.
And the Wolfpack trail 12-10 with just over 15 minutes left here in the second half. They're going to have to find the... They're going to have to score again here if they want any chance. I don't think Clemson's letting up any. They seem to be playing even more physical here in the second half, even though there's less scrums.
Now, if I was Clemson, I would start slowing down the play and eating up as much time as they can, play a strong defensive game, and just hold us at the half.
And kind of set those scrums a little slower.
Yeah.
Because if they take their time and run out the clock, then they're going to do really, really well. So it's like, yes, you may want to push for another score, but you run the risk of losing possession of the ball. Offload to Rooster, who keeps the ball in! Oh, that was nice.
Great play there by Rooster.
She cut back in, which was awesome. Okay, that ball's out. She needs to pass it. Yeah, Clemson wasn't rolling away from that tackle. Alex is going to take a quick tap and gain about 10 meters there, and she hands it off to Cinnamon, who's able to gain about another meter.
What does it mean to roll away from a tackle? What?
So after you make a tackle, you need to roll away from the tackled player so a clean ruck can form.
Okay, I got you.
And if you don't roll away, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
And Bones had a really bad ball placement and carry right there. She needs to learn to hold on to it and set the ruck. which she's going to hear about later, I'm sure, because that's the third or fourth time she's done that. We've had a couple of really good ball carries, but thank God we kept possession there.
Yeah, we're pushing deep into Tiger territory once
Yeah.
again.
They need to clean it up a little bit. We are getting a little sloppy, and they need to. We've been working on plays for a couple months now of how to run the ball between the forwards and the backs, and we're not doing that right now. And so we need to clean it up.
Clemson's
See,
gonna come away.
you get sloppy and you lose possession.
And especially with Clemson's mentality of most likely wanting to run out the clock, it's you get eliminated.
Yeah, there we go.
Pushing out to the right.
Big run.
Huge run. Barron just trucking her way through.
We got lucky there.
Goose has got it now.
Okay, so we still have possession. We need to be setting those rocks. They're pushing it to the outside. Looks like Goose kept the ball in, but just barely. Ooh,
Very close to scoring.
So it was our penalty. Alex is going to run a quick tap, and it wasn't through the mark. So it looks like we're actually going to have to set it up now. That was a really, really, really nice everything right there. We're not going to be able to keep it up, though, which sucks. But, you know. Don't know what we're doing right now. Okay. So the forwards are trying to pound the ball in.
Absolutely.
And if they don't get it, then they're going to just whip it out to the backs and hope that we've sucked in enough of the Clemson defensive line that the backs can find a hole. I don't know. So that might be Clemson not rolling away. Yeah, that's going to be my guess.
So Wolfpack's going to reset here.
So forwards are going to do it again. They're just going to keep pounding the Clemson defensive line until they either break or it gets so sloppy they whip it out to the backs. There we go.
It's going to be a score there for
Great
the Wolfpack.
Score.
They're going to go up by 3 pending the try here.
We go up by 5. A try is 5 points, and then a kick is 2.
So yeah, so pending the kick, they'll be up 5. They're up 3 now.
And that's a much nicer kick than it was earlier.
They gotta get up and they gotta go.
A lot of momentum here for the Pack. 2 straight scores.
Absolutely. Now they're going to be the ones who are going to want to play more
Yeah.
conservative.
And we're really good at running out time.
Yeah.
I think that this is probably a bigger surprise for Clemson because we were pretty fresh when we came in last semester, and they beat us pretty soundly. They played a better game than we did. So
And the kick is good.
Kick is good, so they're now up 17-12 with just over 10 minutes left.
So the pressure's on for Clemson, and I'm going to make a bet that we see a sloppier play and a few more injuries before the game is out, just because when there is this much pressure.
Kennedy, gotta go. Marie, she'll get there. She'll get there. We don't have time. Let's go.
This is where NC State's physicality is going to come into play here.
Yeah. Not even physicality, willpower. You don't
Willpower,
have
yeah,
any more
yeah.
physicality. You have like 10 minutes left. You have nothing left but like hoping you can keep it together.
Oh, she
Ooh.
slipped.
Oh, that was rough. That's okay. It
They
happens.
maintain possession, though.
Oh. Yikes, there was no wrap there. She just blocked her with her shoulder, so that's going to be a penalty against Clemson. It's not football, as much as people like to say rugby is like football. And kicking for touch.
Yeah, we have a line out here for the Wolfpack on the right sideline.
So we're going to gain a few meters here.
And if there's anyone who I want to be lifted up by when it comes to line out, it's going to want to be Joe Bridges. That's for certain.
Yeah. It's being a jumper is not something you want to do if you have a fear of heights. So technically, yeah. So Clemson's jumper went up first, and they're not allowed to do that. But what Nicole should have done is held the ball.
What if hold it? What if would
So-
have? hold the ball
So
there
what
again?
happened is because it was an offensive scrum and the Wolfpack were throwing in, Clemson's jumper went up before our jumper, which they're not allowed to do during a defensive lineout. And Nicole is a little newer, and it is hard as a hooker to see that, but she should have held the ball to make Clemson go back down. And then I think there was a knock, and Clemson decided to do a scrum. And obviously Clemson's a little angry about how long
Slowing
we're
down the
taking for
scrum.
our scrums, but
Hey, it's a tactic.
you know what?
Yeah.
Strategy is really important.
And there goes Kennedy again. Shedding tackles left and right. Oh, and she finally goes down. Big tackle there.
Big tackle by Lindsay. And Lindsay's going to need to get out of there. Ooh. Big rock. Clemson retained possession though. Oh, this is going to be a long 10 minutes.
Now under 6 minutes.
Oh, that's playing it on the ground. Yup, can't pick the ball up when you're on the ground.
And Alex Fisk is just gonna
Yeah, she's going to take that quick tap every chance she gets.
trying to get some more meters. It's gonna be Joe Bridges up the middle, lowering the shoulder. Oh,
Ooh,
big
that
tackle.
was a good tackle by Clemson.
Big. That's like stopping a freight train.
Whoa! She can't do that. So you see their 7 right there just stuck her hand in the
Yeah.
side of that ruck. You are not allowed to do that. If Tegan had been on that side, that would have been called.
Come to find out, a lot of the call, it's really all about.
Oh, and NASA's got a big run there,
Huge
and nobody's
run.
tackled her yet.
Wow.
Nice run by NASA.
Deep in Clemson territory.
On the verge. Of scoring. I found a lot of the calls is very vital where the sir actually is relative to the play.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
since it's only one of them.
Yeah, and there's usually during professional rugby, you have a sir on the field and then a sir on each side of the field, and there are
Gotcha.
cameras because you know you can't see everything.
Yeah.
Now under 5 minutes left in regulation.
So NASA, who just made that big run, is going to come off. And again, once you come off the field, you are off the field.
Yeah.
So NASA's out, and Amy, who's wearing number 7, is on. And Amy's small, but she's probably one of the fastest players on our team. And we do have a lot of small players, and it's funny watching people try and catch them and or thinking that if you run at the smaller player, you're going to be fine. But some of our smaller players make the biggest hits.
They don't have to.
No. Yeah, see, but we're allowed to do that. That's yeah. Well, and Clemson's also got a pretty new. I don't know if their program is new or if they're new to our conference.
Oh
But-
no!
oh
Big
my
misplay there by
God!
Clemson.
Big
Oh my
mistake.
God! Ooh, ooh, that was
Wow.
a knock. Yeah, those little mistakes are really, really, really costly.
Especially this late in the game. That's.
I've
huge
come to learn
mistake.
it's more of a tactical game, more so
Yeah.
than a physical game.
Yeah.
Like when you think
Yeah.
rugby, you think hitting people left and right.
Yeah,
But it's all about technique and strategy. And once again, just one slight error in the technique there, and it could be costly.
Kennedy, take the minute. Take the minute. Take a minute. What? Go down and take a minute.
Now with the
Take a
3 minutes
minute.
remaining.
yeah.
Minute, sir.
He really can't call that. That's fine. Whatever.
What's taking a minute?
So if you need a minute, you're injured or your shoe's untied or you get the wind knocked out of you, you're allowed to just take a minute before coming off.
So he's essentially telling his player to fake something, just
Well,
like,
not fake something. She is moving. I mean, Kennedy's been making most of the big runs, so
Yeah.
Oh.
it's no surprise that she's probably sore. Sometimes we call them old lady minutes when
got you.
you fake tie your shoe because you need to catch your breath.
Yeah.
Um,
And she's definitely limping now that I see it.
Oh yeah,
but-
she's moving pretty slow, and she has been the last couple of runs. But you know, when you carry a lot of the balls for your team during the first half, you're
Yeah,
gonna
through
feel
the
it second
first-
half.
the first freaking
40,
pretty
40 minutes of the game.
pretty much
Yeah.
the first 78 minutes of the game because we're down a little more than 2 minutes left. She's been doing a heavy load of their
Yeah.
runs all game long.
I also gotta feel bad for Clemson. The last couple times we've played them. We've played at Clemson, and that car ride back is long.
Yeah, I hate for the
That's
Clemson players
a-
having to go back.
That's a 5-hour drive, and you feel it.
Absolutely.
You really feel it. Getting out of the car is hard.
Got a scrum here for Clemson, it looks like.
Oh.
They can come away with the ball. They're going to try and push up the right, but without Kennedy, we'll see who's going to take the ball. Big tackle there by the Pack.
I really don't. Okay. So we had a little bit of a few sloppy plays there, but it looks like we're cleaning it up and actually rucking now, which is good. And again, Clemson can't stay on their feet during rucks, which is dangerous. That's a really good way to hurt yourself or your teammate on the ground.
Yeah, Clemson is running out of time, though, right now. Less than 2 minutes remaining in this game.
And we're also having a few issues staying on our feet during rucks, but
They pretty much had to go the length of the field in a very short amount of time if they want.
Clemson needs some time to set up and kick that ball as far down the field as they can.
Not as far
They
as they would've
haven't had a
liked.
lot of luck with that yet. Like
Yeah.
they
that wasn't as far
they
as they
only
would've
gained a
liked.
few meters. It's the right idea, but they need to kick it harder.
And once again, it's hard to do so here in this cold weather.
Well, the sun just came out, so hopefully
true.
the last like 5 minutes of this game are not as cold. Oh, nice run. And that's a bit of a mess. But we're going to keep possession of the ball. Goose should have passed it off. Goose is going to offload to number 4 Prime, who takes it right back into all of the players, which is not really what you want to do, but sometimes it happens.
Big run there by
Um,
Jill Bridges.
Yeah, Jill had a nice run. Is that coming in? Yeah, she must have picked the ball up off the ground. These rucks are going to kill both teams as far as penalty goes. Most of them are coming off of just like small technical mistakes inside of a ruck. Jill's going to try to do what she did against Camp Lejeune last week, where she kicked it about a meter from the try line. Maybe is she going to kick it? Yeah. Yeah.
La, you're on that line.
She's going to. Oh, no. They're going to run a pod.
Hey, you can't.
Nice. Oh, that
Ball's
was
loose.
a really bad offload. She wasn't looking. You can't fake a kick, actually. So Clemson got possession, which is unfortunate. They needed another person in that ruck.
So they have one last chance to make a run out of here. With
So what
very little
Clemson
time
could
left.
do is, if they're lucky, they're going to whip it out to the fastest person on their team and make a 90-meter run.
Yeah.
Be extremely difficult.
It would be hard to do, but that's what they're going to have to do
Yeah.
at this point to
Yeah.
score. Because, like, yes, these little runs are really good, and Clemson's playing an amazing game right now.
But time's
But
left.
time's
There's no.
not on their side.
Yeah, there's no time on the scoreboard. We don't know what Sir has, but it's got to be very low.
Oh. Oh, and the
big
ball's
strip.
loose.
Big strip.
Prime's going to offload it to Rooster, who has a
Rooster's
hole.
gonna make a run.
And she might make it all the way in. Not quite, not quite.
Let's go, ladies, go.
That's a knock. So, whoa, that's game.
That's game. The Wolfpack are gonna
Okay.
win it,
Wolfpack
17-12.
Oh my
what a
God.
game!
That was a great win for the Pack. Tightly contested game down to the last minute.
No better way to start off your season than a
Yeah.
W.
Exactly.
We just have to keep doing that and hopefully not lose against Queens too bad next
Yeah,
week.
just gotta kind of clean up some of the technical stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure we're all gonna get a talking to in practice next week about some of the stuff we messed up. But I'm really proud of the way we played today.
Absolutely. Both teams fought incredibly hard. It was a great game. Very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, that was a good game. That was a really, really good game.
Now Clemson unfortunately has to make the 5-hour bus ride home. Welcome back to Upper Method Field, where we just concluded the NC State Clemson women's rugby match. NC State took it by a final score of 17-12 in a hard-fought battle in this cold weather. Tristan, what do you think of the Pack's effort today?
It was really great. After the first score by Clemson in the second half, it really looked dismal at one point. The Pack were playing really sloppily, and they just came back. They got an almost instantaneous score to bring the game to 12-10, and they just kept going, and they scored twice in a row to end the game. It was just a lot of great runs for the Pack.
Yeah, absolutely. As we mentioned before, this is both teams' first game of the year. No better way to start off the season for the Pack than a W. Great entertaining game. Glad we could be out here. Thank you for watching with us, and have a good day.